Welcome to episode 3, Apple Crumble. You will need sweet apples, unsalted butter, cinnamon, nutmeg, almond flour, flaxseed meal, and almonds. In my video, I used salted butter and I wasn't a fan. So here are your 2 apples. Kerrygold butter is my butter of choice. Please use ground cinnamon, nutmeg, almond flour. If you can find super fine almond flour, it's better. Then your flaxseed meal and your almonds. So as you'll see in this video, I tend to bake by eye, but I'll walk you through with some measurements. You start off by adding your almond flour. It really depends on how many apples you're going to use. I only use 2 apples in my video, so place about 1 cup of almond flour, and you are going to add about half a cup of flaxseed meal. So I add the flaxseed meal because it has some added protein and added fiber, and it's really good for you. So from there, you are going to add cinnamon. Cinnamon is a very taste-specific condiment. I love the spice, so I go a lot extra. I recommend starting off with 2 teaspoons, giving it a taste, and adding more. I usually add 2 tablespoons. I love cinnamon. Then add some nutmeg, not too much, maybe a 1/4 teaspoon is sufficient. And if you have cloves, even better. Next, you're gonna add your melted butter. I use 1 tablespoon per apple, and I melted it, and then you just pour it into the mixture. And from there, you're going to start mixing it until it looks like wet sand. In my video, I ended up having to add a little bit more almond flour. It was a little too wet with the butter. It happens when you bake by eye. So it still ended up tasting quite delicious, but if you want a drier consistency, more like apple crumble, you could fix your ingredients and add the quantity that you want. I always encourage my viewers and my friends to experiment with their baking. I don't like to limit people or creativity. I know that you hear that baking is an exact science, and sure it is, but still, be creative. So you're going to use the filling and place it inside the cored apple. In a moment, I will show you exactly what you need to do to core this apple. So you're going to stuff it in nice and tight, push down with the spoon, get in as much filling as you can. The filling will not expand, so do not worry about making the apple burst. Next, you're going to add your topping of choice. I added slivered almonds. This part is completely optional. You could top off with whatever you'd like. Now I'm going to show you how to core the apple. Using a knife, carefully cut through the top in a small circle. You don't want to go too small, but you don't want to go too wide. The wider you core, the more filling you will have to add. So that goes up to you. Do you want more filling? Go wider. You want less filling? Go smaller. I use the knife to break the fiber in the middle of the apple to make it easier to scoop out with a small spoon. I like to reuse my apple pieces, and I actually included them in the original part of the filling. So I poured it back into the bowl and mixed it in. So I'm filling the apple with the apple. Apple has natural sugar. And as you notice, I didn't add any sugar to this recipe. I rely on the sweetness of fruit. A lot of you probably have a sweet tooth. So if you want to add sugar, go ahead. I recommend starting out with a 1/4 cup of sugar and increasing sweetness if you didn't think it was sweet enough then. So here is what I did with the apple filling. Like I said, I scooped it out with a spoon and I poured it right into the filling. Why waste good fruit? All right, so where were we? We're done with our apple. I put it on a silicone baking mat. I made a total of 3 apples. We're only 2 people in my household. I don't have to bake that much. So then in the oven, you put the temperature to 350 degrees, and I baked for an initial 40 minutes. Once the clock was out, I removed these deliciousness out of the oven. Nice and careful. As you can see, the apples leach out this delicious sugar water. Oh man, make sure to use a spoon and scoop that out and pour it back on the apples. Here is a nice view of cutting into the apple right out of the oven. You can see the steam, so good. I added a scoop of healthy ice cream called Enlightened. If you're a Halo Top fan, go for it. And here is a word from my boyfriend.
I feel like Gordon Ramsay's right now. Delicious.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You don't mind that it doesn't have sugar?
You need sugar when you have the apple and cinnamon.
Would you want me to make it again?
Mm-hmm. This figure looking good.
There you have it. You heard from the man. Boyfriend approved. Thanks for watching. Please leave comments below, like, and share this video.